Hey, welcome to the Micheaux Mission, 2 Men, 1 podcast. Every black film ever made. My name is Len, aka the Bat Tribble. And as always, I am joined by my partner.
Hey, this is Vincent Williams.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the month of February.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Are we in February?
We are.
Yes. We're in the month of February, Vincent. And in February, we're taking a break from usually, because this is considered Black History Month.
Yes.
We usually talk about Black Westerns.
Yes, we do.
But we are going to be talking about romantic films.
L'amour.
Indeed. This February, ladies and gentlemen, and that is all to coincide with a very special event that we have coming for you at the end of the month that we will talk about in a little bit. But before then, I welcome you to join us as we kick things off with a film from 2021 starring Mahershala Ali. One of those is correct. And Naomie Harris and Glenn Close in a film written and directed by Benjamin Cleary called Swan Song. Vincent's selection for tonight's stop on the Micheaux Mission.
Yes.
Shout out to each and every one of you out there who are watching us as we stream live via StreamYard to Facebook as well as to YouTube. And hello, everyone.
Good evening, one and all.
Vincent, how are you doing, my friend?
I am fine. I'm moving some stuff I can't see. You know, the secret sauce is that we look at each other.
Yes.
While we're like I looked up and it was like stuff.
It's a bunch of
stuff, but
cameras and lights.
But I'm good. I'm good. How are you? Welcome back.
Oh, I am doing
Welcome
great.
back.
I'm doing great. From my trip to New Orleans last week. I got beignets. I wasn't able to get beignets before we did the show last Tuesday.
Right, exactly.
I got actual beignets from a place called Stuffed Beignets and Burgers.
Very nice.
Oh my God, Vincent. They had the pastry sweet beignets. And they had savory beignets.
Very nice.
So I got like a grilled shrimp and crab meat beignet. My friend Devin got a Philly cheesesteak beignet.
Okay.
And a grilled chicken beignet.
Okay. Very nice.
Then we got a lemon cream beignet, which they make special for because it was the time of Mardi Gras, as well as a king cake beignet.
Okay, all right.
Oh my God, they were so good.
Very nice.
It was so good.
Glad you enjoyed the beignets.
Oh, so good.
Beignet.
Oh boy. And we're off.
Yeah, oh yeah.
We are
if I open a beignet restaurant, that's what I'll call it. Beignet.
Yes, beignet.
So
you would love this place, Vincent.
Okay.
Because not only is it a restaurant, first of all, it's Black owned.
All right, like that.
And it's not in the French Quarter.
Okay.
It's in the real heart of New Orleans.
Okay. All right. Very nice.
And when you walk in there, it's very nice. But it's definitely has a homey feel to it. And there's a huge bar.
Okay.
There making great drinks.
All right.
So
excellent.
We had a good old time.
Sounds like a good time.
Lemonade. I got the homemade. I got just a regular homemade lemonade. My friend Chris got homemade strawberry lemonade.
Nice.
Oh, so good. It was the best food I had while I was there.
That's saying something.
It was the absolute best food. I would go back to New Orleans just to go back to stuffed beignets and burgers.
Well, shout out to stuffed beignets and burgers.
Yes. Oh my God. So yeah, that was a good time. So we had a good time. But I'm glad to be back.
All right.
Glad to be back here, ladies and gentlemen. For those who are very savvy about tech, the technology of doing podcasts, you may have noticed that Vincent and I have returned to an older look of the show tonight. And that is because I kind of like reset things, because beginning in March, we are going to go hard. It's going to be an all new Micheaux mission like you have never seen before, ladies and gentlemen. I can't wait to debut our new look in March, but wait, it's coming. It's coming. All right. Let's get into it, Vincent.
All right.
We got a stuffed show.
We
got a very stuffed show. We got a packed show, and we're going to kick things off like we always do with listener mail.
Missives from the missionaries.
That's right. Let's take them in order. We got an email from Shanta Williams.
Hey, Shanta.
In regards to our review of A Thin Line Between Love and Hate.
All right.
From last week. I didn't realize until this review that this was Martin Lawrence's project, so now him in the lead role is somewhat clear.
Okay.
Because Martin is attractive, but he's not playing all these women attractive.
Right.
And this is coming from experience. I've been played before, and they were definitely better looking than him.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh. Shanta got stories.
She got stories. Shanta got stories.
She got 1,000-yard stare.
We're gonna have to meet her in the streets. She continues, I do see him as the guy who is charismatic enough to know all these women on a club promoter tip.
Okay.
But they aren't taking him seriously on a romantic tip. See, that was
right.
Well, at least I'm not going to say all the women that you see him bouncing around, because some of them are definitely played that they might, not be playing with a full deck themselves.
Right.
But the Lynn Whitfield and Regina King characters, they definitely are played in when you're introduced to them as people who would not fall for his shtick.
Right. And I will say something that we didn't touch on that I'm glad Shanta said, not to step on any toes. He very much reminds me of several club promoters / party promoters that I've known in my life.
Yeah, most definitely.
Do with that what you will. But that's that is true.
That is
like him as a party promoter. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very true. She continues, and Miss Whitfield, speaking of Lynn Whitfield, is definitely too mature to be talking to him.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this episode as I Googled the recipes for New Orleans hurricane drinks.
Be safe and responsible, Shanta. Be safe and responsible.
Longtime fan. Tay has spoken. So Shantae Williams.
Shantae, I'm sorry.
Shantae, that's my fault. Shantae has spoken, ladies and gentlemen.
All
Those
right.
hurricanes were good.
Hey, man.
Those were good, man.
Hey, man.
Now, I'm gonna let you know when we got off the air. I got about 2 more.
All right. I
was enjoying myself.
I'm glad. Look, you're here. You're back. You're safe. So things went well.
There you go. We also got an email from Craig Amerson.
Hey, what's up, Craig?
Craig Amerson writes, hello, Vincent and Len. I've been a listener of the podcast for years, and you both have brought me many laughs and a richer insight to how films can be analyzed.
Well, thank you, sir.
I'm probably a little younger than your average viewer, so most of my exposure to classic Black cinema has been through the podcast.
Oh, okay. We'll take that.
I knew of Melvin Van Peebles, but hadn't watched any of his films before your reviews. I'm not going to lie. I left Sweetback feeling a little confused. You ain't the only one.
Right. You have a friend in Lynn.
When I saw HBO Max had his follow-up film, Don't Play Us Cheap, available, I decided to check it out.
Oh, interesting.
I was wondering if either of you have seen the film. I thought it was wonderful, and it has quickly become my favorite film of his that I've seen, narrowly beating out Watermelon Man. It would be great to hear your thoughts on the film. Sincerely, Craig.
That is really... Have you seen it? Have you seen Don't Play Me Cheap?
No, I wasn't even aware of the film.
I got for a Christmas gift, I think, last year or the year before last, that Criterion collection of Melvin Van Peebles films. And that's included on there. And I walk by it literally once a day.
So you haven't seen
and say, oh, we should watch it. Because you know what it is. It's the Micheaux mission sort of stutter step where I say, "Oh, I need to watch that." Oh, wait, we should watch it for the show. And
right,
then,
it's me too.
And then you look up and it's 2 years later.
Same here. Same here.
So
you're aware of this film.
I own the film. I've had the film in my hand,
but you've never seen
I've never actually watched it.
So you don't even know what it's about? I don't know what it's
about. I'm gonna say no.
Okay. I've
but because of Craig, it's now shortlisted.
No. All right.
Yeah, in the next 2 months, I'm going to choose it.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, and we have another email from Ellis Heron.
Hey, what's up, Ellis?
Hey, fellas. I'm happy to hear you're enjoying some good New Orleans food and drink.
All right.
I may be from Texas, but my roots are in the Big Easy.
All right.
You haven't experienced good eating until you've had Thanksgiving New Orleans style.
Interesting.
When it comes to a thin line between love and hate, I agree that for some reason Martin wanted to make his version of Boomerang. Maybe he figured it was another step he could take to be as big of a movie star as Eddie was. But even though you feel Lynn Whitfield didn't have much to work with in the movie, I dare say that it's more her movie than it's Martin's. I was a teenager when this came out, and most of my generation associates her with this movie more than anything else she's done. Lastly, I'm not sure if you've done this, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on that Netflix documentary, Is That Black Enough for You? By Elvis Mitchell.
Yeah.
Your boy, Ellis Heron from Fort Worth. P.S. My wife almost made it to see Black Panther Wakanda Forever in the theater, but she gave birth to my new son 2 days shy of the premiere.
Oh,
congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
So now she's getting ready to finally check it out on Disney Plus.
Well, look, I think that is a good reason to miss it.
Indeed.
Oh, that is wonderful.
You know, speaking about Lynn Whitfield, I do recognize that this is a lot of people's introduction to her.
Sure.
And quiet as kept, I may have known of Lynn Whitfield before this movie, but this is definitely the one that made me remember her name.
You did not see her in Josephine Baker, the Josephine Baker story.
I did, but was that before this?
I don't know, but that's what I always remembered her from.
Because for some reason, I don't think that was before. Maybe it was around the same time. That's a good question.
I know she was in it.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? I guess maybe I don't really remember her from that so much because
I remember. Sure you saw it?
No, I saw it.
Okay.
But I probably, first of all, let me look it up. I want to see when the Lynn Whitfield movie came out, because that's a good question. Lynn Whitfield movie.
The Josephine Baker story. Because I think it was an HBO movie.
Josephine Baker story. I typed it all. I typed Joshing Better story. That's what I get for trying to go fast. That's what I get for typing fast. It was a television movie. Oh yeah, it was earlier because it's 1991.
Oh yeah.
I guess because I definitely saw it, but I probably just took it in as like, oh, that's a pretty woman playing Josephine Baker. So it just wrapped my mind that it's Josephine Baker as opposed to remembering that it's Lynn Whitfield.
Whereas I said, who is that and what is her name?
Well, okay.
Right.
Fair enough.
I had turned into Black Dynamite. Who is that and what is her name?
Yes, you did.
Yes. Was she in The Women of Brewster Place too? Like, all jokes aside, she was good in Josephine Baker, but I think was she in The Women of Brewster Place?
I'm going to look up her filmography as we speak. Lynn Whitfield was in. She was. I'm not. Yeah, she was in The Women of Brewster Place.
She was good in that too. She was good in that as well.
1989.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So thank you, Ellis.
Thank you, Ellis, and once again, congratulations to you and the missus.
Indeed. Farrell Blackwell says, Vince, I'm with you. I can't remember Lynn Whitfield from anything else except the Josephine Baker story.
Whew.
And apparently Robert Monroe feels that the hurricanes are still hitting. No, they're not. They're not still hitting. Just a momentary brain fart.
Yes.
That is all. Calm down. Calm your nerves. All right. We have a voicemail, Vincent.
Oh, voicemail using that cutting edge technology.
You know, and now for you, Vince. Let's see what we have on voicemail.
All right.
What's up, missionaries? This is Mo. Got a dumb question. Did you see RRR? Man, this flick is amazing. And it's surprisingly black. I mean, black. It follows two dudes who wouldn't pass a paper bag test, set in a whoosha Bollywood action extravaganza. One of the guys, he's got a good government job. He's all respectability politics, while he's funneling guns to his people. The other dude is super charismatic wild one, and he's just trying to run up into the British government and set it off. To say it starts when a girl's mom is killed and that girl is sold into servitude suggests that it wasn't bad before the film starts, but that's the inciting incident for the film. These two dudes from different sides of the track, they meet and they click, and for all their struggle, they know the same music, same dances, and they're bound by culture.
All right, we're going to play the voicemail again, ladies and gentlemen, because there was something that happened in our Vincent and I's end that we couldn't hear it. So we're going to play it again.
So we apologize if it was super crazy.
Just
okay.
Listen again.
Okay.
It was scintillating. Here it goes.
What's up, missionaries? This is Mo. Got a dumb question. Did you see RRR? Man, this flick is amazing. And it's surprisingly black. I mean, black. It follows two dudes who wouldn't pass a paper bag test, set in a whoosha Bollywood action extravaganza. One of the guys, he's got a good government job. He's all respectability politics, while he's funneling guns to his people. The other dude is super charismatic wild one, and he's just trying to run up into the British government and set it off. To say it starts when a girl's mom is killed and that girl is sold into servitude suggests that it wasn't bad before the film starts, but that's the inciting incident for the film. These two dudes from different sides of the track, they meet and they click, and for all their struggle, they know the same music, same dances, and they're bound by culture. And yeah, the wild country boy be trying to holler at the white woman. For the uninitiated, this is set in the Raj, India. India is under British colonial rule, and it's definitely occurred to me that the similarities I noticed with Black Americans are simply the response to white supremacy. But it's got a lot of melanin in it too. So y'all gonna review it? Don't y'all have a big announcement coming up soon? Just trying to stir the pot. No.
Thank you, Mo, for
Thank you.
Voicemail. Vincent, have you seen RRR on Netflix?
I have started it and I got distracted and then I haven't come back to it, but I watched like a half hour of it, which apparently is not a lot
you have not watched
it's like a 4-hour epic, apparently.
Yes.
But I very much am enjoying it, and everyone I know who's watched it has very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. Mm-hmm. It's real fun. And yes, it is 3 hours long.
Right.
Legitimately.
Yeah.
And you start to feel the length a little bit, but then something silly will happen. Because it's like Mo said, it's dumb fun action. There's music everywhere. The music is very exciting and addictive. The dancing is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. The choreography, even the fight scenes, because there's abundance of action.
Okay,
because it's an action movie as well.
Okay,
it's everything you want in a movie all at once. The only thing that's missing is romance.
No
romance, even though there is a guy that tries to holler at a white woman.
Right.
But they kind of keep that on the low. They kind of realize
it's like a subplot. It's
not even a subplot.
It's going on if you're paying attention.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. It was on the list. Now I'm going to underline it on the list.
You can underline it on the list.
Okay.
But I don't believe it meets the criteria for the Micheaux.
I'm pretty sure there are no black people in it at all.
There are none.
All right. Yeah.
Not a one.
All right. Okay.
So sorry, Mo.
Sorry, Mo.
We won't be reviewing it. Sorry, brother. But thank you for the voicemail. Always like to see people using the voicemail. The voicemail is our friend. And if you want to leave us a voicemail, ladies and gentlemen, give us a call at 215-867-9666 and tell Vincent and Len what's on your mind.
Right. And if you're listening to this on a Walkman, because you recorded this on a cassette, you can just rewind it.
You're not going to keep coming at me for my voicemail. There's voicemail on your phone.
Yes, it is.
So
call me now. What's the number?
215-867-9666.
9666. Call me now.
Okay. Anyway, Farrell Blackwell says that voicemails are as technologically advanced as podcasts.
Well, there you go.
All right. And your brother Damon Williams points out, this is an interesting factoid. Seems like Lynn Whitfield should have gotten all the roles that Diane Carroll had either aged out of or didn't want.
I can see that. I mean, you know who took all the air out of Lynn Whitfield, though. Like, you know exactly who was getting all the roles that Lynn Whitfield probably could have gotten.
So Lynn Whitfield really pops in 91 with Josephine Baker's story.
Right. When's Hurricane Angela Bassett land? When's that touch ground? What year
probably not.
Yeah.
Maybe right around that time.
Right. You know, I love Lynn Whitfield, but come on.
So you feel
if Angela Bassett is up for if Angela Bassett wants it. Right. Lynn Whitfield is sitting somewhere with Blair Underwood, looking at Denzel Washington and Angela Bassett eat up everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. And then seeing Alfred Woodard bump her out of the line.
How about that?
How
about that?
That's a good point.
Then she wants to circle around and do just the super serious kind of small art house film, and Lorraine Toussaint and CCH Pounder sitting there what you doing?
You better get out my house.
What you doing?
You better get out my house.
What you doing? We all trying to make as much money as we can, because apparently it's this little thing named Viola Davis coming up behind all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And you look up and it's 2023.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. And she's at that point, even at that point, she's already probably not technically too old, but she definitely skews more mature.
Right.
So she's doesn't get any of the, the girlfriend roles.
Right.
That Nia Long and Halle Berry are
right.
crushing.
Right. Lynn Whitfield was never going to be in that lane.
Yeah.
Again, I told you the joke I saw last week. She might play evil, but she ain't never play broke.
That's true.
So Lynn Whitfield got a little walk-up apartment somewhere in Brooklyn, and Lorenz Tate's going to pick her up. And no. Lynn Whitfield is not playing that role.
That's true. That's true.
that's well, Lynn Whitfield is a secretary and an ingenue, and she trying no.
And think about it. She's in that movie, A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, with someone else who's coming right behind her.
Yeah.
Regina King.
Yeah.
So
who is very much a chameleon.
Yes. Regina King to me feels like she was like the heir apparent to Angela Bassett.
Right. Who is also a bit of a chameleon when she needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like my brother really did nail it. Like Lynn Whitfield is in that Diane Carroll school where, look, this is who I like.
Yeah.
I don't know how much Lynn Whitfield wears jeans.
Speaking of black women doing things, You pointed out to me, Vincent, that there was a very interesting essay in the Hollywood Reporter today.
Yes, we just as a just as an epilogue to our conversation last week about the Oscars and the snubbing of Black directors, including Gina Prince Bythewood. She wrote a really, really good essay about Hollywood politics and the machinations of the Oscars and what it what it means to her and what it's like. So I direct everyone to read it. It's in the Hollywood Reporter. I think it came out today.
Yeah,
it came out today.
It hit there like around 9 something this morning. It's when it hit the feed.
Yeah.
There. Yeah, it's very interesting, and she does not spare any fucks.
No. Look. It is what it is. The machine is the machine. So
it's interesting though to me that is in the Hollywood Reporter.
Right.
And considering that we're right in the midst of Oscar season, having an essay directly from a director who is, right in the midst of the conversation.
Yes.
And not only is there conversations going on about the nominees themselves, there's ongoing conversations and controversy about some people who may have how some people finagled their way towards nominations.
Right.
And the Hollywood Reporter was lucky to get this A-list. She is now A-list.
Absolutely.
Because of the Woman King, because of the Old Guard on Netflix.
I was just about to say, yeah.
She is A-list director. And they get her personal thoughts right there.
Yeah.
In the Hollywood Reporter. And God bless the Hollywood Reporter for putting it out there, giving her the space to get that off her chest.
I mean, I guess.
But my bone about that is that I usually look at the Hollywood Reporter at least once a day.
Okay.
For stories, right? And you came in pointing out that story, and I was like, oh, I didn't notice that. Let me go to the Hollywood Reporter, because I was in the midst of actually reading the story on there and like refresh, thinking that maybe it just recently hit.
Right.
And as I scrolled through the Hollywood Reporter on their front page, that story is not listed there. Okay. Now maybe over time it made it to like the second page or whatever. But my bone with them is that as I go to Hollywood Reporter and I just hit refresh on here, within the first 4 stories, the fourth one is a story about William Jackson Harper, who starred in Love Life on HBO.
Yes.
HBO Max.
Yeah.
And him being upset about that show being pulled from HBO Max.
Okay.
Because they've been pulling content. And a thing that the Hollywood Reporter does, and it actually gets on my nerves, you'll see a story at the top of their page, and then as you keep scrolling down, you'll see that story again. And the William Jackson story is there, number 4 up top, so it's got prime real estate, along with a story about Shailene Woodley, her show finding a new home at Stars. And both of those stories are repeated again on the front page.
Okay.
And to me, if you can find the space to repeat those 2 stories, then you can find the space for this amazing essay by Gina Prince Bythewood to still be on the front page.
Right.
I think it's a lot more current, and people would be more interested in that, in her thoughts, as opposed to, reading one story, which is essentially just a reconfigured press release, and the other one is blowing a big story out of one statement that an actor made.
Right.
So that gets is a pain in my my buttocks.
Well, hopefully people find it. Hopefully people find it.
Hopefully people find it, and I am going to pull up that story so that I can put put a link to it in the.
And there might be a link on our page. Like I feel like I saw it on our page.
I feel like you did too, but I'm going to put a link in our chat.
Okay.
Right here, so that people can check it out. And people on YouTube, they can go and link to it. So I'm going to find a link to it, and I'll throw it in there.
All right, excellent.
Okay? All right. But while I do that,
okay,
Vincent, it is time for the top 5.
For the top 5.
Who's your top 5?
Top 5, ladies and gentlemen. This is where I give Vincent my top 5 list, and he gives you his scintillating commentary on it.
Ooh, scintillating.
It is scintillating. The film that we are reviewing for tonight is Swan Song.
Yes.
Which is a romantic movie.
Yes.
A dramatic movie.
Yes.
But probably just as much, this is a science fiction movie.
That is very much part of my critique of it. Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
It is. So tonight I am going to give you my top 5 science fiction romance dramas.
Interesting.
Okay.
You have a fair amount to pull from, surprisingly enough, don't you?
You do.
Yeah.
You do. But I tried to stick with films that I thought actually do fit the sci-fi romance drama role.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of sci-fi romantic type,
right, with a romantic subplot, and but you want to all right, excellent.
But I want where the romance is like it's head on.
All right. It's like this whole episode is a preview for Octavia April.
Yes. All right. So number 5. The Lobster from 2015.
Okay.
Have you seen The Lobster?
I've actually not seen it.
The Lobster is now. Some would say The Lobster is a bit of a dark comedy. Because it definitely has some funny moments in it. But at the heart of it, it is a very, very offbeat romantic movie.
Okay.
It's from 2015. It is definitely a a dark comedy. That stars Colin Farrell and Rachel Weisz and John C. Reilly, among Olivia Colman as well, because I'm a fan of Olivia Colman. Directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. It is a film where David, played by Colin Farrell, is a bachelor and has to move into a hotel with other singles who are all obliged to find a romantic partner within 45 days or else be transformed into an animal.
Okay, sure, why not? And do they sign up for this voluntarily?
Well, if I remember correctly, it's something that you have to do once you hit like a certain age.
Once you hit like,
if you're single at that age,
you still got to go.
You got to go.
So it's like
now you're on a 45-day clock.
They Logan's run them. Logan's run them.
I never saw the Logan's run.
They Logan's right. They got the little timer on the little wrist that glows, and
it's not like that.
Like Logan's run.
Now it's
Michael York.
It's speculative fiction, but it definitely, like, there's nothing about the trappings outside of that people are turned into animals.
Right. Yes. Except for that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln?
There's nothing else that gives it away as science fiction.
Okay.
Everything else, this could just as well as be a movie as quirky as I Heart Hucklebees.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But it's but with all that being said, it's still a very sweet story.
Okay.
And it is another movie. It's another movie along those lines of Colin Farrell really just leaning into how good and how malleable an actor he is.
Okay. All right.
He is fantastic.
So is does the title refer to the animal that he's in danger of being turned into?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. I think you would like it.
Look,
I think you would like it.
It sounds wacky.
It's wacky.
All right. All right. So that's 5.
Number 4.
Number 4.
The Shape of Water.
Oh.
From 2017. Definitely a romantic film. An Academy Award winning film.
I still haven't seen it.
Really?
I know.
It's Guillermo del Toro.
I know.
And
that's my dude.
Him.
I know. Dude. I know.
For those who don't know about this movie, that stars Sally Hawkins, Michael Shannon, Richard Jenkins, Michael Stahlberg, and Octavia Spencer. It's revolved around a top secret research facility in the 60s where a lonely janitor forms a unique relationship with an amphibious creature that is being held in captivity. It is definitely a romantic fantasy. It is a movie that, as I mentioned, won the Academy Award for Best Picture, and a film that some people think is maybe a little bit too slight of a fare to have won the Academy Award. Me, I'm like, I like the whimsical, and the romance of it, despite it being another movie between a human and a creature. It's tender. And it's sweet. Right. It's sweet. It's a lovely movie.
And I do like Guillermo del Toro.
I do like me some Guillermo del Toro too. So that's number 4.
Is there any insight in the film where the creature comes from at all? At any point?
There's some.
Okay. All right.
You should see it.
All right.
I would have known you.
I know.
Number 3. Her. From 2013. Starring Joaquin Phoenix. In a film written, directed, and co-produced by Spike Jonze.
That's right.
And it marks his solo screenwriting debut, believe it or not. That follows Joaquin Phoenix character Theodore Twombly, a man who develops a relationship with Samantha, an artificial intelligent virtual assistant personified through the female voice of one Scarlett Johansson. A science fiction romantic drama. Joaquin Phoenix, again, another actor who leaves it all on the film. Nothing's on the cutting room floor with him. Scarlett Johansson, an actress that I don't mind, but probably this is definitely a role that she's suited for, because it's just her voice. And she's good, and she speaks well.
Yeah, she's good in this,
and she's good, and she is good because she does get like, you feel her, and you understand him feeling her, and you feel the connection between the two. And it is a film that I think a lot of people will come away with. I actually watched this film and came away feeling like, wow, like there were parts of this movie where I felt I was seen. And that's, I certainly didn't go into it thinking that.
I love this movie.
Yeah.
I've actually used this movie in my class.
Really?
Several times.
In what aspect?
Depictions of near future, depictions of anxiety, like the thesis for the class is how science fiction reflects current anxiety, like depictions of the future reflect current anxiety. So you do something like Soylent Green, where people were concerned about overpopulation, but then like years later where it's like a bunch of other people, something like Children of Men represented the anxiety that frankly developed countries and the white middle class have about babies. And Her is the anxiety about us being disconnected from one another and leaning on technology.
Oh, you're spot on.
Look, man, I teach, and I roll right from this into a couple of episodes of Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love her.
Black Mirror could just be a curriculum.
Look, man. Look, we will be mentioning Black Mirror.
We certainly will
in this episode. Like this whole episode is this my jam.
Yes.
But what was I about to say about her? Early Chris Pratt.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a Chris Pratt appearance in this too, where you get a sense that he can be more than just the dumb guy.
Yeah.
On part. Like this was the film where I said, "Oh, he
can do something else."
Yeah, it's just a little something going on with that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, big fan of her.
All right.
Big fan of her.
Number two. We're jumping in a way back machine, Vincent. We're going way, way back.
I've already referenced Logan's Run.
Not that far back.
Not that far back. Michael York.
We're going back to the 80s.
Okay.
And a better actor than Michael York.
Well, it doesn't take much to clear that bar.
1984.
Okay.
Starman. Did you see Starman, Vincent?
Of course I saw Starman.
1984 American science fiction romance directed by John Carpenter. It tells the story of an alien who comes to Earth and takes over the form of a cloned human body portrayed by Jeff Bridges in response to the invitation found on the gold phonograph record installed on the Voyager 2 space probe.
Yeah.
This film also stars Karen Allen in a movie that stole hearts back in 1984. People were going crazy about Starman. I actually did not see it in 84. It wasn't for maybe about a year or so later that I saw it on cable television. It became like one of those staples of cable television that it was always on.
Yeah.
Because this was the days before, home video and things of that nature. And this was the movie. This is probably the movie that introduced me to Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, this dude's all right. He is all right. And the movie is just sweet. It's just a sweet, sweet movie.
Now, how deep you want to go into it with this? So, the movie came out. Do you remember it was a television series?
Yes.
Remember
after the film, because it was a big hit.
It was a television series after the film that followed, and Robert Hayes
played Starman.
But then Starman, the television show, quietly had more than a little bit of the DNA of, you ready? What you know about the powers of Matthew Starr?
Yes, I remember the powers of Matthew Starr. Yes.
With Lou Gossett Jr.
Yes.
Who was a guardian to a space white boy. It was a white boy from space.
This is all you really wanted to get to. This is all you wanted to
Come on, man. You know, as soon as you said Starman,
I saw you pick up your phone.
I had Bill Duke in the back of my head going, you didn't fuck up. Because my favorite thing on earth is those post-Incredible Hulk, low-budget science fiction shows that were on for like one season.
Everybody trying to do.
Oh, yeah. So the powers of Matthew Starr, Starman, Manimal.
Oh, yeah.
What was the dude's name who had the powers of the pyramids? Remember the dude? It was like the Phoenix. Was it the Phoenix?
The power of the I don't remember.
He was like the Phoenix. Like he had special powers from the far ancient world.
From the far east.
The far ancient world.
I don't remember this.
He has psychic powers. I think he was the Phoenix.
I don't remember this Phoenix. This was a show.
Oh man.
This was a show, Vincent.
Yes.
Maybe not a TV movie.
Like you remember the man from Atlantis?
I remember
Speaking of The Shape of Water with Patrick Duffy.
Yes, I remember that.
And these were all the exact same show.
I remember the Man from Atlantis. I remember the Man from Atlantis comic book.
I own all 5 issues?
Isn't that early John Byrne?
Yep, sure is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back.
Yes, let's bring it back.
We'll bring it back.
Let's bring it back.
Well, you said Starman. I said, oh yeah, I'm all over Starman.
All right, well, that's number 2.
That's number 2.
But my number one sci-fi romantic drama
is, of course, Lethal Weapon 2.
Is a film that I absolutely 100% heart-achingly adore.
Okay.
However,
okay,
it wrecks me so much that it sits alongside Big Fish.
Yeah.
Films that I love, but that I would likely will never watch again.
Yeah.
It'll be a very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
And this movie's got some age on it already, and I still ain't ready.
Okay.
And that is Eternal Sunshine of
the
Spotless Mind.
Yeah.
Starring Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet. In a film from Charlie Kaufman about a relationship that turns sour, so sour that the couple, unbeknownst to each other, undergo a medical procedure so that they can erase each other from their memories forever.
Yeah.
And the struggle that they have with that ordeal. I cannot tell you, like, I have never watched a film like Big Fish does it to me, but it does it to me because there's a big event at the end where this guy is dealing with his father, and it was right around the time that I was with my father, and I just cried like a baby. I was going through nothing. I was just looking for a Jim Carrey movie to watch.
Sure.
And watch this film. And man, you want to talk about in the fields. And I can't point to any one particular moment because my eyes were filled with tears almost from the beginning of that movie all the way through the end. And thinking about, remembering a love who you cherish and having to not be able to hold on to that memory, or to see that person, and that person doesn't like you kind of recognize one another, but you're not quite sure. Oh my God, that movie just wrecks the fuck out of me, man.
Good movie.
I love
good movies during that moment where Jim Carrey was doing a lot of interesting stuff.
Stuff, man. And he was, wielding that power.
I was about to say,
box office king.
Yeah,
in 2004. But yeah, there's not many movies that I like more than that film.
Yeah, it's a good one. I haven't watched it in a while, actually. To circle back to it. Well, good list. This is a good list.
Well, thank you.
It's a good sci-fi list. It's a shame it's nothing on here we can't do on the show.
Yeah. That is true. I was actually thinking about that. Going to the chat, checking out what people are saying. Sharon Eldridge was saying that Starman had better be on this list. Well, you're right.
Well, there you go.
It was actually on this list. Yeah, absolutely correct. She's pointing out that Jeff Bridges was. Sharon also points out that Jeff Bridges was in Tron.
Yes, he was.
And I was a fan, because everybody, when you're a kid, was a fan of Tron. But I didn't know it was like there was a white guy starring in Tron.
Sure.
I didn't know.
Which then it's so amazing. Like he becomes Jeff Bridges. And then when they circle around and make Tron Legacy, now he's Jeff Bridges.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. How about that? Aaron Fry points out that Angela Bassett and Viola Davis both played Amanda Waller in two different DC movies. Angela in Green Lantern and Viola Davis in Suicide Squad and several other DC films. And in my opinion, Viola was far superior in DC's opinion as well.
I was about to say that seems to be the consensus.
As they're going to be developing a series for her.
Yeah.
In that role. So there you go. And I didn't feel. I mean, Green Lantern. The Green Lantern film was,
I've never actually finished it.
And And Angela Bassett and Ryan Reynolds
Right.
are both mad that they
Right.
did.
Like I did 20 minutes and I said, I don't have to do this.
Robert Monroe Jr. asked, was Electric Dreams on this list? It was not on this list. It didn't make the list.
That's a good one.
I think I've seen it. It's been a while. So
I really just remember the Boy George song.
I don't even remember.
Boy George has a beautiful song. I know it's super random, but it's like this beautiful song on the soundtrack. I think it's called Love is Love.
Your brother Damon says that Starman was indeed a cable staple. It used to come on before Lady Hawk, but after Silver Bullet.
You can tell me and my brother we're watching the same cable.
See, I remember Lady Hawk. What's Silver Bullet?
Silver Bullet. Wait.
Or did he mean Silver Streak?
Right, because Silver Streak is what I'm thinking about with Richard Pryor. I have to be honest. I stopped reading after Lady Hawk. You know I love some Lady Hawk.
I'm sure. Weren't you a fan of Willow?
You know what? I was not a fan of Willow.
No. Okay. So you didn't watch the
I did not watch the series. I don't know if I've ever finished the movie. Like, I know that's not true. I know I saw the movie. I have no real memory of Willow at all.
Okay, I was wrong, Damon, before you hit me up. Silver Bullet was a film, Vincent. It was not Silver Streak that he's talking about.
Is it about werewolves?
So, yes.
It's got to be about werewolves.
So let's see whether or not this brings your memory, because it's
okay.
from 1985.
That's the sweet spot.
When a series of unexplained murders occurs in the normally quiet town of Tarker's Mill, the residents decide to hunt down the killer. However, many of these vigilantes end up dead, and those who don't are no closer to finding an assailant. But when a young wheelchair-using boy named Marty, played by Corey Haim, encounters a werewolf one night, the pieces begin to come together. Along with his sister and his Uncle Red, played by Gary Busey, Marty begins a mission.
I do remember
to capture the werewolf
once
and for all.
Yes. Not my go-to for 80s werewolf movies.
Well, not according to Damon.
Yes, well, look. I'm an American Werewolf in London guy, and if the sun is up, wolfing. Because I thought wolfing was actually scary.
Oh, I remember wolfing.
Yeah, I thought wolfing was scary. Like, wolfing was a bit much.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
From when I was like 13, 14, I was like, oh, this is a bit much.
All right. So
there you go. Good list. Now I want to watch Starman.
All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Game of Kings.
Gotta clear my head. You got all this 80s junk sci-fi in my head.
That's the key. Why, you'd be surprised what a person can do with just a sense of touch and a sense of sound. That's the key.
Ladies and gentlemen, where Vincent will attempt to get to Derval Martin and connect him to an actor of my choice.
A science fiction lover himself.
He was.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, I couldn't come up with connective tissue for these actors. So I just picked two random names.
Okay.
For you to select.
All right.
So Vincent, in 6 movies or less.
Random name 1 or random name 2.
Get from Derval Martin to Rachel McAdams. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now make sure you got the right person in mind, Vincent.
I'm pretty sure I do.
Okay.
I'll have to ask you this, though. Is that her in Mean Girls?
Is Rachel McAdams in Mean Girls? Survey says yes.
Okay. Well, there you go. In that case, Derville Martin is in I just had it and then I lost it immediately. Derville Martin is in, because how am I going to get to this if I get to Rachel McAdams? The bad thing is I know Rachel McAdams has been in like at least 3 things that I know, but I forget that she's the one that's in it. So if I'm trying to use Mean Girls, who do I know? Okay, here you go. Derville Martin is in The Final Come Down with Billy D. Williams. Billy D. Williams is in The Ladies' Man with Tim Meadows.
Okay.
Tim Meadows is in Mean Girls with Rachel McAdams.
Very good, Vincent.
All right.
Well done. Well done, Vincent. You are a man of many skills, my friend.
What has Rachel Adams been in that I would have known immediately, though?
Besides Mean Girl?
Yeah, because I just see her face going, it's not going to happen. You keep trying to make it happen. It's not going to happen.
She was in...
Like, what's her big deal?
Let's see. Well, she's in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, well, there you go. So the Marvel muck.
Plays his love interest.
Right.
She was in the movie Spotlight.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Oh, excellent movie.
All right.
She was in the second Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movie, A Game of Shadows.
Okay.
Oh, she was in the first one too.
Okay. Oh, yeah, she sure was. Because she plays, what's her name?
Irene Adler.
Yeah, she plays Irene Adler. Yeah.
Those are like the films.
Those are the big ones
that I think that you would.
Okay. All right.
Know her from. But I mean,
hey,
besides Mean Girls.
Mean Girls works.
Mean Girls definitely a big
all right.
So very good.
All right.
All right, Vince. Well done.
All right.
Next up.
Next on the docket, Rando number 2.
Rando number 2.
Spin the wheel.
Get from Derville Martin.
Derville Martin. 2.
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke. How do I want to get to old Mickey Rourke? Because Mickey Rourke. All right, well, what's my favorite Mickey Rourke? Let's start there. What do I like? I like Mickey Rourke in the rest. Oh, yeah. I mean, hell, Mickey Rourke. This is boring, but I'm going to do it real quick. Derville Martin, Dick Anthony Williams, Samuel Jackson, Iron Man 1 with Robert Downey Jr., who's in, I think, Iron Man 2 with Mickey Rourke.
That would be correct.
Yeah, he plays Whiplash but that's boring. Mickey Rourke is what's my big Mickey Rourke movie?
It depends. I
want actor. Yeah, young actor Mickey Rourke that I would have.
Okay, well, of course, there's 9.5 Weeks.
All right, not a huge fan of that.
The Pope of Greenwich Village.
Yeah, who's in the Pope of Greenwich Village with him?
That would be him and Eric Roberts.
Okay.
As well as Daryl Hannah.
Okay.
You've also got Angel Heart.
Right.
That's your movie.
Hey, a surprisingly good movie, which, you get to him through De Niro.
And
Lisa Bonet, if you want.
The movie that makes his probably made his name was Diner.
He sure was in Diner. I always forget he's in Diner because he's kind of grubby.
In Diner?
No. Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, so you forget that he was clean.
Right, exactly. Like that. You're right.
Forget he was a ladies' man.
Right. When you said he was in the Pope of Greenwich Village with Eric Roberts, I said, "Oh yeah, that tracks."
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but is that like Judge Reinhold in Diner?
No, I don't think it's
not Judge Reinhold, but it's like a dude who looks like Judge Reinhold.
It's what's his name? Paul, the comedian guy who will go do Mad About You.
Not Schaefer.
Not Paul Schaefer.
Paul,
I'll tell you, Paul Reiser.
Paul Reiser.
Which is Mickey Rourke, Paul Reiser, Steve Guttenberg,
right?
Daniel Stern,
right? I'm thinking about Daniel Stern,
Tim Daly, and Kevin Bacon.
I wish I'd have thought about Paul Reiser, because then I could have taken a stroll through the Aliens universe. I've forgotten.
All right, you're already.
I
visited Matthew Starr.
I know,
Okay.
but get the Yaphet Kotto and Alien and Aliens and Paul Reiser. Yeah, all right. Well, there you go.
All right, there you go.
How you pick these two randomly? You really did just pull some names out of hat.
Well, actually, I looked like I was stuck on Starman from '84. So then I looked at movies from '84, and then I thought, oh, it worked. He was hot in '84.
Right.
And then Rachel McAdams was like, I need a woman.
You just I need a woman. Someone get Rachel McAdams people on the phone. Nice.
And I was trying to think of people that was, I wouldn't think would be easy.
Right.
I actually forgot that Rachel McAdams was in the Doctor Strange movies, because almost everybody I was coming up with.
So did I.
I was like, everyone I was coming up with, like, that you can connect them to a Marvel movie.
Right. And then somehow you miss Mickey Rourke.
I guess I miss Mickey Rourke.
Yes, but that's because by then he was like
He's
real.
Not quite Mickey Rourke.
Right. He didn't turn into this Mickey Rourke.
Yeah. There's Mickey Rourke, and then there's
right. Exactly. What was that? The Wrestler?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
It's good stuff.
It's very good.
Yeah, I was trying to connect him to the Wrestler, but then I was like, why do I have him looking like the Wrestler doing actions? Oh, right. He was in Iron Man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And guess who else is in the Wrestler, who then also is in a Marvel movie?
Who?
What's her name? My cousin Vinny.
Oh, Marissa Tomei. Sure is. Yeah. Oh, there you go. All right.
Let's get into our review of Swan Song. But first, it's time for trailer talk, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Where we talk about stuff that is not going to make it onto the show. Speaking about Mickey Rourke, Farrell Blackwell is going down a Mickey Rourke tour de force here. He says that he was super scummy and great in Barfly.
Barfly. I really liked him in Barfly.
Yeah, I think I remember that movie. I don't know. Maybe I do. I don't know.
Barfly broke you.
Like, honestly, I remember Mickey Rourke from 9.5 Weeks, because 9.5 Weeks was right around the time when I was a kid. And when you was a kid, 9.5 Weeks was the closest thing you had to legal porn.
Right.
And fortunately, I was dating someone at the time.
Okay.
Who was also a fan of 9.5 Weeks.
Okay. All right.
And we were
keep it
I'm
PG-13. All right. Okay.
I'm just saying we did like everybody else did. You reenact the movie.
Okay. All right.
You didn't reenact scenes from 9.5 Weeks?
I don't recall doing that.
Oh, look at you. That's because your partner is watching.
Can we? No. I don't think I've actually seen it.
What?
I don't think I've seen it. What year is it?
It's 80 something. It's definitely 80s.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually seen it. I always heard people talk about it.
Wow, you never saw 9.5 Weeks?
I don't think I have.
9.5 Weeks, 1986.
I don't think I actually saw it.
Okay, Charcuterie Friday.
Go and watch 9.5 weeks.
You and Wendy.
All right.
Watch 9.5 weeks.
On the list.
Send the kids out.
Yes.
You know, don't let them come downstairs.
Don't let them come downstairs.
Lock them in the basement.
Yes. That'll go over well.
You ever seen 9.5 weeks?
I don't think I have.
Have you seen scenes from it? Like the most infamous scene takes place at a refrigerator. The most infamous scene takes place at a refrigerator. It's Mickey Rourke.
Oh, right. She's like blindfolded and he gives her like fruit or something.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. All right.
Well,
I can almost guarantee, and this probably says a lot about me. You was like 86.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like I know, because that's right in the midst of Aliens and Terminator, and like I can guarantee if I had to pick between Total Recall or something, it was like, oh yeah, let me watch.
No, see, and there lies the difference.
Hey man,
because there's 5 years between us.
That was right there. You go. Yeah, there you go.
So
you little right there. You go. There you go.
19-year-old Len was like,
right.
yo.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway.
All right.
Robert Monroe Jr. says that Wild Orchid is a wild Mickey Rourke film. It tries to be. It does try to be.
I don't think I saw that.
He was leaning in on his sex appeal. He was voted like the sexiest man.
Really? Because he looks like you might get a rash. I don't know if I'd drink a soda after Mickey Rourke.
Not back. I'm telling you.
No, back then I don't know if I'd have drank.
I mean, he definitely had a slick look about him.
Hey, you want some of my knee-high?
my knee-high?
You want me to say you some knee-high?
We weren't drinking knee-high in 1986.
No, I'm good.
You sound like my sister because we're planning my older sister. We're planning like a Super Bowl party for this weekend.
She wants knee-high.
No, she doesn't want knee-high. But I'm like, hey, maybe we can get like some specialty pizza and some wings. Right. And she's like, yeah, and I'll make some pigs in a blanket.
And I'll whip up a batch of Chex Mix.
I'm like, nobody's eating no pigs in a blanket, Adrian.
We'll break out some clam dip. I'll pour some Ripple potato chips in a big bowl.
Oh God. You know what my mom's go-to for parties?
What?
Was she would be like, I'm gonna make punch.
Okay, punch.
So her punch was getting a big thing of sherbet.
Yes.
Putting the sherbet in the bowl.
Absolutely. And the ginger ale.
And pouring ginger ale.
Oh, that's primo party mix right there.
That's punch.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I think I'm going to do that for the party.
Look, man, ain't nothing wrong with that punch.
Of my mother.
Ain't nothing wrong with that punch.
We haven't had that since my mother passed
Nothing wrong
away.
with that punch. Look, get yourself one of them cheese balls. That was my mother. That the cheese ball with the cheese ball. The cheese ball.
I remember the cheese ball.
Yeah, and some crackers around the cheese ball. Fool around and yeah, like the fancy crackers in like the shape of butterflies. Remember the butterfly crackers?
We didn't have that.
In the Ritz and
we didn't need butterfly crackers. We just had Ritz
and put them around there. You ever get like when your parents had a party and like stuff was left over? Did you get up the next day and eat from the?
Even if it was sitting out all night.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Half of that cheese ball that had been sitting out all night.
That's the best cheese.
But that was the best cheese ball.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yup. Be sitting there
all night.
Bust it up.
Just
don't let them have that party on a Friday so I can come down Saturday morning.
I was about to say, have it while you're watching cartoons and feel like a sophisticate.
Cereal get a day off.
Right, like this is how grown-ups must live. eating cheese balls while watching the Herculoids.
Sharon Eldridge says, "Ooh, butterfly crackers. I love those." You know what we used to.
My mother only got those for the parties.
My mom only got the Ritz.
Okay,
but my father's mother, she would get what were the crackers that taste like chicken?
Yes, remember? Yes. They were called like chickenettes or yes. Those are some good ass crackers.
They kind of were. I remember as a youth. Yes. I remember like, yo, these are kind of good.
Yes.
And she would always ration out like you couldn't take 5, so she was just 3.
Like they acted like it was some food you couldn't get all the time.
I know, right? And some food that's not put out there for the kids. Right. Like we know we ain't supposed to touch that food. But this is a snack.
It's in the shape of a chicken. Animal crackers have trained me since a child that crackers in the shape of animals belong to children.
Exactly. But not to my grandmother. She would give them out 3 apiece.
Let's give out 3.
And I don't want to see y'all.
That's right.
Ask for no more.
Because she remembered when Negroes weren't allowed to eat these crackers. My dad used to talk about they get oranges for Christmas and they could eat oranges and they could get oranges year round, and because like he was so happy around Christmas because they had these bags of oranges. That's right. And I'm like, this is the saddest Negro story I've ever heard in my life.
That is a real
thing. That is a real
thing. That is a real thing.
Like you just
the fruit bags.
You just black in 1952 and you don't like you can't even have no fruit. Damn it, racism. I can't have no orange. I'm a Negro and I can't have oranges.
That's right. It was called chicken and a biscuit. That's what they were called.
Chicken and a biscuit.
Chicken and a biscuit. They weren't biscuits though. I guess it was because it was the chicken.
And why did it take
bread?
Look, you probably did
the biscuit.
You probably
biscuits in England were crackers. Called biscuits.
So there you go. So there you go.
So we saw them.
Probably don't want to think about it too much. Like, why did it taste like chicken?
No, you don't.
Like, don't think about it too hard.
How do they get the essence of the chicken to this cracker? I don't know, but it tastes so good.
They were good. They were
so good. You want some chicken, baby? No, I just want some crackers. I just want the chicken in a biscuit.
Crackers. Oh my goodness.
Deborah Battle says, don't forget the mixed party nuts.
Mixed party nuts. That's right.
We didn't have mixed party nuts. We would just have salted peanuts.
Oh,
we didn't have mixed
salt peanuts.
Same lady.
Same.
My dad's mother.
Your paternal grandmother was trying to get y'all toughened up for life.
Yeah, she was doing some things.
That's right.
She would have salted peanuts. She would have them strategically placed around the house.
Well, of course, because the whole house is being used for entertaining.
Yes,
absolutely.
And I remember that one of the places she would put them was by this chair that was by the window in the living room.
Okay.
Right? But after everybody started like milling around, they all gravitated to the dining room and to the kitchen.
Right.
So I would post up on that chair, and thus I would have all the peanuts for myself.
Have all the peanuts for you.
And I would sit and, dude, I would fuck those peanuts up.
My great aunt used to have the bowls with the Brock's candy. And she always had just the blue candy.
Yes.
And then you remember when they would have the Hershey miniatures with the candy bars. So it'd be like the little Mr. Good bars, the little Hershey bars, and then they had like the little Hershey Dark.
Yeah.
But like everyone would eat all of them, and then it'd just be that bowl of Hershey Dark sitting
Hershey
there.
Darks.
One of my fondest childhood memories was sitting in her living room, and Ralph Baci's Lord of the Rings came on, and I sat at that sofa and ate a bowl of Brock's blue candy and a bowl of Hershey Dark, and had some type of sugar-induced fever dream while I was watching Ralph Baci's Lord of the Rings, because somehow I had been left in the living room by myself.
Oh, God.
And it came. True story.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
That story tells you so much about me.
I remember. Same grandmother. Me and my cousin Ricky being left in the house. I can't remember where she was, but we were looking for something to eat. And she had the tin of Charlie's chips. Remember them?
Yes.
But she kept them up on top of the break front. So we moved the chair over.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
And I knew Ricky was too scared to do it.
Right.
So I climbed up on the chair.
Call him Scary Ricky.
Got up on the break front.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to tip off because I couldn't quite reach the top.
Sure.
I had to tip off the tin down to Ricky.
Okay.
Who missed it.
Oh, no.
So it hits the ground.
Oh, no.
And it opens.
Oh, no.
And now there are chips all over
everywhere.
The floor. Well, we either couldn't find or didn't look for the broom.
Mm-hmm.
So we just sat down and said, well, we've got to eat the chips.
Just eating the potato chips off the floor. This is a terrible story. Dude, you just sitting there eating potato chips, busted up potato chips.
Busted up potato chips.
Off the floor. With that old Charlie's chips, which is how I knew that. If I didn't know, now I know that your grandmother was an old black lady, because that's some old black people food right there.
Yeah.
Like, did it fall down and hit like a bottle of King syrup?
No, it didn't.
Tell me you're in an old black lady's house without saying it's an old black lady's house. You said a tin of Charlie's chips.
Real talk.
Y'all sitting there eating chips. Mahalia Jackson is coming from the kitchen from a little transistor radio. The will be done. Trouble the water. Trouble the water. Y'all just sitting there eating chips off the floor.
We now return to Amos and Andy, already in progress.
Oh my
Kingfish!
Oh, this is terrible. Oh boy.
All right. Okay. All right. That's
Should probably talk about a movie or something.
We do. Robert Monroe Jr. says, I will have to use black in 1982 at some point.
That was actually the black year up until about like 77, 78.
Yeah, really.
Like, you always think about the time machine stuff. Like how far back would you push the dial on a time machine? Like how far back would you go?
Actually,
like
that I would want to go to?
Right. Like, white people, I'm going back to merry old England. But like, as a black person, how far back are you going before you say, yeah, that's far enough for me?
That's far enough. Yeah. 1972 might be about as far.
I said 77.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm about to say, because 72,
it's real tough in 72. Yeah.
I don't know if I go to 1977.
Like, I'm saying 1977 just because, like, I kind of remember 77.
I don't think I would go to 77.
But I wasn't an adult in 77.
It might be about 80. It might be Starman.
Right, like as a grown man, like 83, 84 maybe.
Yeah, that's probably, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Like, I don't need, like, I would take the dial off in my pocket. This is as far back as I need to go.
Like, like I'd love to catch Prince in a little club, but that's pushing it. So like 81, maybe 81.
Yeah, see,
just for Prince.
See, but you don't need to see. Okay, you know, like, you don't need to go there. You can go like the last 5 years of Prince, because he was doing like.
Yeah, but I'd like to see young Prince.
Oh, you want to see him like in a bar,
right? Like he's like wearing panties and thigh boots.
I was say him in a thong,
right? And mascara. He's like yelling at people.
Stop talking, I'm singing.
Right, he's throwing drumsticks at Andre Simone or something, you know.
Okay, well, then you're right. That's about the 80s.
Right, but that's about it.
Yeah, 80s give you that sweet spot. That's the golden time of Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Right,
I would love to see like that. I would love to have seen Earth, Wind, and Fire in
like
concert.
A stadium show. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah. Maurice White.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry, because this, you know, I'll talk about this for the next 2 hours. Like, just how far back am I going? Not that far back.
Not as far back as you think, ladies and gentlemen. No.
Right.
You know, I like Dr. Martin Luther King in theory.
Oh,
but
not at all.
I don't need to.
Not at all. Not at all.
I might go back and say duck, but
shit,
that's about it. All right, we've gotten dark.
I was about to say, God damn, Lynn. I was talking about going to see Prince. Talking about political assassinations.
No, I went back to change history. To really change history. If I'm going to do it,
I just want to go see Prince.
You just want to go see Prince. See a little black man thinking about yourself. I'm thinking about the brother man.
All right, well, let's talk about a black man who thought about everybody but himself. See what I did? See what I did? See what I did?
All right. We were doing so good on time.
I know.
Where does the time go? All right. Swan Song, a 2021 science fiction romantic drama written and directed by Benjamin Cleary, and starring Mahershala Ali, Naomie Harris, Awkwafina, and Glenn Close. When a loving husband and father, Cameron Turner, is diagnosed with a terminal illness, he is presented with the option of sparing his family grief by having himself replaced with a clone. In Vincent's selection for tonight's stop on the Micheaux mission. Vincent, what say you of Swan Song?
Well, as we've been talking around this entire episode, this is a film just on a programming note that I really went back and forth between whether or not I wanted to talk about it this month or in April.
Right.
Which is our Octavia April, when we do science fiction and Afrofuturism films, because this is a film that really is my favorite kind of science fiction film. You know, it's very thoughtful. It's very thought-provoking. And it is a film that is in the tradition of maybe my single favorite science fiction creator, which would be Philip K. Dick. And it deals with two themes that Dick deals with in a lot of his work. A, what happens when technology advances faster than our ethical and moral language does, to the point where again, we have to figure out how to fit our own ethics and morality into it. And B, what is identity? What makes you what makes you?
Yes.
And how does technological advance affect that? And this is a film that very much that is at the center of the plot. As you said, this is a man who has a terminal disease. He is going to die, but he has the option to replace himself so fully that his clone self won't realize that it's a clone, so that life will continue and no one will know what has happened except this person. Which ultimately is why I landed on talking about it in this month, because I think this is a wonderful love story. Not only is it a wonderful love story, but I think it is the type of love story that, frankly, you don't see that often on screen. I don't think we see a lot of pure Black love stories, whether we're talking about Black men and Black women, Black men with Black men, Black women with Black women, just Black people loving each other. And certainly love stories where Black men go above and beyond for a Black woman. I have argued and continue to argue there are not as many as you would think. We've talked over the years, whether we were talking about the ones that we all champion, Mahogany and Brian and Mahogany, who I think is not the best dude. Don't get me started on Love and Basketball. Even my beloved Love Jones, our beloved Love Jones, I think the two of them are on real shaky ground by the end. So this story of this Black man who is going to sacrifice literally everything, including himself, for his wife and his family, I just think it's a beautiful story. Just the story itself. You go to the execution. I think this is an incredible production. As you said, this was written and directed by Benjamin Cleary. Benjamin Cleary, who before this film does not have, and even to this day, does not have an extensive filmography.
No, that's mostly shorts.
His direction is assured. His direction is intentional. His storytelling is amazing. The framing of shots, everything that we talk about on a technical level. I think this script is a triumph of delivering information. Again, this is a pretty high concept film. I think it gets the concept across wonderfully as far as the mechanics of being a clone. I think for a film like this, you really have to buy in. Like, this is a film that is asking a great buy-in. And the buy-in is, would you believe that this character would sacrifice himself for this life? Which means that you have to show a life that's worth this sacrifice. And I think from scene to scene, from the very beginning, the first scene, which I think very smartly shows the two characters meeting, Poppy and Cameron, through the very smart use of flashback, you see that this is a couple, and more importantly, this is a life that is worth preserving. The script, the story, the direction means nothing without the acting. And every character in here who is a main character, I think, does a tremendous job. I think Awkwafina, I have to say, I'm not familiar with her work that much. I always hear her name. I know she was in Crazy Rich Asians, which I haven't seen. I know she was a comedian, whatever.
She was in Shang-Chi.
And she's good. She's good in Shang-Chi. It's a Marvel movie. So, she's fine in Shang-Chi. I saw her in this before Shang-Chi, which quite honestly is probably why I was underwhelmed by Shang-Chi.
Okay.
Because she's so good in here. She plays a character who has gone through the process.
Yes.
And because of the nature of the film, she plays two characters. You see her replacement, who is effervescent, bubbly, smart-assed. She's a mom. She's happy. So
she's going through the process and
has been replaced with
yes.
a clone. And you see the clone and you see who she is as a platonic ideal.
Mm-hmm.
But then she also plays a character who is dying.
Yes.
And it is a wonderful connection where you see she has the same humor. She has the same wit. She has the same personality, but it is a personality of someone who knows that they are dying and again has made the ultimate sacrifice where I will not be mourned. No one will know that I have died.
Yeah.
Glenn Close, I have to say, I'm going to say this. I think this is a film that it's best if you go in cold. So if you've not watched this film, watch this film and then come back and listen. We'll be here.
Okay.
I think it's important to say that at this point with Glenn Close, because I think the brilliance of Glenn Close's character is that she is an actress at this point in her career where she has such a presence that if you are a fan of science fiction, you're expecting a twist. You're expecting a complication. Yeah. You're expecting, frankly, something to go wrong.
You're waiting for the other shoe to drop.
You're waiting for the shoe to drop. And there is a wonderful sense of foreboding that Glenn Close has throughout the film just by being Glenn Close.
Yes.
That is so wonderful, so that when the film ends and everything goes exactly the way it's supposed to go, you realize that one of the great narrative tricks that the film has played is casting Glenn Close in this role. Glenn Close is great.
And her role is?
And her role as the lead scientist / doctor of this program to replace the dying person with the clone. Naomie Harris. I'm a late comer to Naomie Harris. Frankly, Naomie Harris got on my radar after Moonlight.
Oh,
I know she'd been acting way before then, but we've all watched. You can watch it happen or listen to it in real time with this show. After Moonlight, Naomie Harris is one of my favorite actresses. I love Naomie Harris. And the past couple of years between this and another science fiction production that I have great affection for, the television series, speaking of Starmans, The Man Who Fell to Earth. I'm saying speaking of Starman because The Man Who Fell to Earth, the film starred David Bowie, and then David Bowie, of course, has a song called Starman, which the movie references. Naomie Harris is fantastic in this role, which as the person who's the tip of the spear, frankly, of what the great buy-in is, as Poppy, she embodies a woman that you believe a man would make this sacrifice for. She is smart. She is funny. She is beautiful. She is sexy. She is a mother. There are moments where you see her as a mother. Because of the plot of the film, you see her go through a crisis, and she is fantastic.
Yeah.
So that again, everything about Naomie Harris's performance is magnificent, and frankly, I think she would have had the real standout performance if this whole film did not stand on the shoulders of Mahershala Ali.
There you go.
He is magnificent in this film as this man who is dying and has decided to make this ultimate sacrifice. And much like Awkwafina, he plays two characters. He plays Cameron, the man who's dying. But then you also get a great amount of screen time with the clone, Jack, who he plays them as these two different characters. And it is subtle, but you can absolutely tell which character is which character has only been alive fairly recently, which character is dying and is thinking about this sacrifice. And besides this great love story that's at the center of this film, you then get this story of brotherhood, where you know who's a better brother than yourself.
Right.
So the performances are top notch. I do want to call out the cinematography.
Oh my God.
Masanobu Takayanagi. This is a beautiful film. This is a gorgeous film, filmed in Vancouver. And it really utilizes the natural splendor of the green space. Again, this is a film that, because I think a lot of times when you have these high concept films, they can feel cold, but there is a warmth that permeates the forest. There's a warmth that permeates the house that this family lives in, so that top to bottom, left to right, I do. People have heard me talk about this film since it came out. I'm so happy that we get to talk about it here on the show, because I think it's a film, because it came out on Apple, because it came out in the midst of the pandemic, I think got lost a little bit.
Oh, really?
And I think it's a shame, because I think this is a great film.
Yeah. This is amazing, thoughtful, meditative piece of work here. You touched on everything. This movie. Shout out to the cinematographers. Shout out to all of the designers, the art design, the sound design, the set design. Like it's and the world building. Which is where the science fiction aspect of this movie lands, because it is kind of like set in the near future with self-driving cars, tablets that just appear out of thin air, all in a very sleek, minimalistic style that is just gorgeous on screen. This is a beautiful movie, and you need that to really showcase the tenderness and love that is being put on the screen, because they're going to take your time. Everything else is minimal so that you are not distracted, so that you can live right in this relationship. There's not a whole lot of moving parts to this movie. We pretty much have touched on pretty much almost every one of the speaking roles in this film, except for two other people who work with Glenn Close in her facility, and neither of them they maybe have 2-3 lines apiece, but everything is there so that you focus on this man, Cameron Turner, played by Mahershala Ali, him and this situation that he is in, which is insane, that that you are dying. So you are going to have yourself cloned so that essentially you can continue on, because in this near future, not only is he cloned, but his entire memory, almost down to a cellular level, is transported into this clone. So this clone is an exact copy of him in almost every way that it can be.
And when the process is complete, the clone doesn't know it's a clone.
Right. The clone is then wiped free of any idea that it's a clone. And as far as the clone knows, he is Cameron Turner. Moving on. The crazy part about this movie, and the one I kept wrapping my head around, is like, but but Cameron Turner now has to live in this facility for the rest of his life,
right,
until he passes,
right.
And so you're still going to have to go through that, and you're going through that without your loved ones, without your family. That is an incredible like thing to process that he's going through. And the movie shows him dealing with this, and like you said, in him dealing with it, and in the clone dealing with it as well, because there is an inciting moment that happens in the film where things slightly go askew, and you're feeling, if you're watching this, okay, we were waiting for the mirror to crack. You were waiting for something. Here it is. All right, buckle up. And things happen, but without losing the intelligence of this film. Everything still stays spot on. And even though it's not what you've been trained through years and years of movie watching, it's not what you expect, it still is 100% true. It is still is 100% authentic. It is every bit as mature a story as this film is putting forth to you. And it all comes down to love. This man's love for his family, his clone's desire to exist, and the two of them reconciling that with one another, which then leads to a moment of brotherhood, like you spoke of. And they could not have chosen a better actor to put this on screen than Ali. We talked about earlier in the first half of the show about actors who are chameleons. Think about the roles that this guy has played.
I know
already on screen, from Moonlight to even the Green Book. He's going to be playing Blade. And when he was cast as Blade, you were like, oh, I see that. But then you watch him in Swan Song, and you know what? I see that. I mean, this dude is a monster on screen. He is a monster on screen, man. And even with that, the bond that he creates with Poppy, played by Naomie Harris in this movie, the bond that the two of them create, because Naomie Harris is every bit as much a beast on screen as well, because the two of them make it just look so effortless. And the bond, the family that they present on that screen is real. The love that they exude to one another is real. The comfort that they provide to each other in moments of tragedy and longing and heartache and despair is real on this screen. The family that they have created with their son is beautiful. I myself couldn't help but be touched by the in very quick snippets, the relationship that we are introduced to of Poppy with her twin brother, Andre, and how that all plays out. And God, man, this is another movie that I may not be watching this movie again because it hits me, man. Oh God, like this is just an amazing film, and I was reading reviews of it, and some people were talking about how it is it's a slow movie. Some people were thinking, I saw complaints that, not a lot happens in this movie. So much happens in this movie, ladies and gentlemen. A great deal happens in this movie. Life is happening.
Yeah.
This movie asks questions, and then it takes its time to contemplate what the answer would be, because these are not questions that you're just going to have snap decisions.
Yeah.
And it's just an amazing work.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's the thoughtfulness of it. I know some of the critique that I've heard, and frankly, some of the critique that I've heard in my house.
Oh, really?
About how he makes this decision, this sort of unilateral decision.
That's true, because he's making a decision
and takes it out of his wife's hand. But and they address it in the film.
They do.
They actually address it, like, whether you tell her you're dying or not, you're making a decision about her life.
Mm-hmm.
But that level of sacrifice, I think, is one that I think a lot of people would make. A lot of people, if you could spare your family going through this, I think it is a decision that a lot of people would make, but it is also a decision that a lot of people would have a level of resentment that you made. Like you said, it's not
if they were to find out the decision you made.
Right.
Yeah.
It is not an easy question. And to what you were saying about the minimalism of the design, which I thought is a really good observation. Just sidebar, I also love the design work. I love the world that they've created, and as a fan of science fiction, I always say creating the near future is actually the hardest thing of all. When you talk about these worlds. Like, this is 30 years from now.
Yeah.
Like the thought experiment that I always do, if you took a snapshot of this room and showed it to someone in 1993, how much in this room that we take for granted in 1993 looked like science fiction.
Right.
But, we're not in here in like, tan jumpsuits and like, we're just kind of in a room, and you recognize most of the stuff. But there's just enough that someone would say, where is that? So I love that aspect of it. And then the part that I really love, speaking of the intelligence of this film, is the fact that there's a snag. Like you said, there's a moment of tension between the two Camerons. But it's just a moment of tension. Because you know what happens if you make an exact duplicate of a good man? You have two good men.
That's right.
The very first thing that Jack says when he comes into consciousness is he asks about Cameron.
Yep.
Is he okay?
Yep.
Because this is a good man. So when there is a snag, it's smoothed out very quickly, because these are good men who love their family, and they know that I'm going to do what's best for my family first, but I'm also going to look out for my brother.
Right.
And you have these wonderful moments where the film, just because you got to have, you got to have some tension. You got to have some, where the film spends maybe 10 minutes going, oh, well, maybe he's an evil clone. Like one of the moments in the film that I did kind of roll my eyes at some point, because Cameron has an attack and Jack has to replace him early. One of the scientists actually says the very science fiction line, I haven't finished evaluating his psychological profile. And he like, okay, we got to drop this here, because now you got to wonder, is he going, go get crazy?
Exactly.
But he's not, and he doesn't need to.
No.
And as someone who has watched this film more than once, knowing everything that's going to happen, knowing that there's so much beauty in watching this man make this decision, and then watching these men make these decisions. And again, as somebody who has been underwhelmed by Black Love, you know the running joke with me, like I think Django Unchained is one of the great Black love stories of all time, when we're talking about a Black man doing something,
going above and beyond
for a Black woman. This sits in my heart so since it came out, because this is someone who, like Django, makes these ultimate sacrifices and does this. Not only is this a man, these are men who do this. So that it's an extraordinary film. It really is. Like you don't want to speak in hyperbole and say this is the best Mahershala Ali performance I've ever seen, but it's right there.
It's up there.
It's right there.
It is definitely up there. We talked about how reminiscent this is of the best of speculative fiction, which the best ones ask these type of questions.
Absolutely.
Type of reconcile with these type of questions, which also you can't help but watch this, especially with the topic, the subject, the way it plays out, the meditative storytelling, and the minimal set design. You can't not watch this and think of your beloved Black Mirror.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, if this almost needs to be like Black Mirror : Swan Song.
I was just about to say, if this film was called Black Mirror Presents Swan Song, I'd have been right there.
Yeah.
And you absolutely took the words out of my mouth. Again, I love this examination again of the role technology is playing in how we live. It's actually very similar to my second favorite Black Mirror episode, Be Right Back.
That's right.
Which has a similar, it's like, you die and they can make basically a robot version of your loved one. But I think so much of how we mourn. It's so funny. We were talking earlier about, my wife and I were talking earlier about the old tradition of having the body in the parlor when someone dies, and and the body stays, they keep the body up. But the way we mourn has changed so much, even in our lifetimes. Where you will never forget, like I will never forget what my parents look like. I will never forget what my parents sound like. Because between video footage and voicemails and everything, I mean, hell, if you listen to this show long enough, if you've listened long enough, people knew the running joke with my dad. Like my dad would call and say, "Visit, it's your father," which was hilarious because who the hell else would it be? But I have those voicemails. I have my mother's voicemail. You have all of this stuff. Talk all the time. People used to fight over pictures. You don't have to fight over pictures anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody can make copies of. So these are just small ways technology has changed the way we mourn. I'm 100% plagiarizing my lecture now, by the way. So that something like this film is kind of, frankly, closer to where we're going than not, I think.
I do too.
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah. I do have to say one little plot hole that I was thinking about. At one point, Glenn Close's character says, in a few years, this process will be commonplace. And I was just thinking, well, what are the logistics of that? Because for this to work, nobody can know it. So is it just going to be like a secret process that like you only tell people when they're dying? Like once there's a 2020 expose of this process, everybody's going to look at their loved ones kind of weird that kind of vanished for a week.
Yeah, but you can definitely make it work.
Right.
You know, go away for a job or whatever like that. Like the procedure will become commonplace, but you could still couch it, and you could.
I mean, I'm sure you figure out, but I did think about that. It was like, yeah, it's like people always, I had to go on a business trip for a week. And then like 5 years from now, there's a 2020 expose on something going on in the woods of Vancouver where they're replacing people.
Well, I think it's actually British Columbia.
I'm sorry, British Columbia, where they're replacing people. And then you like look at your cousin like, when you went on that business trip 3 years ago for a week, what really happened? And then the insidious part, and now this is straight Philip K. Dick. Mm-hmm. The cousin doesn't know if that's true or not.
Wow.
Because remember, your memory got wiped.
That's true.
Now you're in total recall.
Farrell Blackwell in the chat says that you hit a nerve with the family pictures. I've been trying to convince my family to start adding all the pictures to a shared Google Drive. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I hadn't thought about that. That's a very good idea.
Oh yeah.
Put that out to my family.
Mm-hmm.
To do that. That's smart. So would you recommend, Vincent, that people watch Swan Song?
I would wholeheartedly recommend this film. I think this is one of the best science fiction films of the 21st century.
One of the best. I'd go there.
I think it is one of the best Black love stories ever on film.
Yes.
I think the performances are amazing. Mm-hmm. I think, as you've pointed out, every single solitary aspect of the technical parts of this film, the direction, the cinematography, the music, the music cues are so wonderful, are spot on. The acting is superb. Everything about this film, I would wholeheartedly recommend this.
Yeah, I would too. I would definitely recommend that you see Swan Song, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's a phenomenal piece of work that it's just waiting for you. It's waiting for you to discover, and lo and behold, it's waiting. It's available for you right on Apple Plus. I know that Vincent does not like free plugs, but
for this, I'll I
didn't think you would mind.
Yeah,
for this, I thought you would co-sign with that, Vincent. So there you go. So Swan Song, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking here in the chat. There was an interesting note that I saw come up from Farrell Blackwell. Here it is. That happened during our trailer talk segment. Because we were talking about 9.5 weeks. And he was saying that conversation got him to thinking, what are some of the most iconic Black love scenes from motion pictures? I'm not going to get into this now, but I think that's a good I think that's a good fodder for a binge lounge.
Yeah. Thank God for the left nipple.
Okay.
Thank God for the right nipple.
That won't make my list.
That won't make your list?
That won't make my list.
That's not. But you knew exactly what I was talking about.
Well,
isn't that the definition of iconic?
Well,
I said, thank God for the left nipple. Thank God for the right nipple. And everybody knew exactly what I was talking about.
Okay. It's an iconic image, but isn't an iconic Black love image?
Well, maybe not about love.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that is fodder for a binge lounge. We'll try and see if we can't make that happen this month.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen. All right. But before we tell you what we're going to be watching next week here on the Micheaux Mission, I invite you all to check out the Micheaux Mission, 2 men, 1 podcast. Every Black film ever made. Go to MicheauxMission.com where you can hit swag and check out all the cool designs and gifts that we have available for you by way of our good friends at TeePublic. You can also leave us a voicemail at 215-867-9666 and tell Vincent and Len what is on your mind, or simply email us at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUX MISSION@gmail.com. Like Mission on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Micheaux Mission. Subscribe on YouTube to Micheaux Mission, as well as on your podcast catcher of choice, where you can leave us a 5-star rating and a review, because that helps people find our show, which is a proud member of thepodglomerate.com. They make podcasts work. All right, next week on the Micheaux Mission, ladies and gentlemen, hey, guess what? We got another choice from Vincent coming up next week.
Oh, do we?
Yes, we do.
All right.
Yes, we do.
All right.
It's from 2016.
Everything is coming up, Vince.
Another quirky film.
It's Vince O'Clock.
And this is Gene of the Joneses.
Gene of the Joneses.
A film that I was not aware of before Vincent told me we were watching it.
I am very much looking forward to what you think about Gene of the Joneses.
Have you seen this movie before?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is where I discovered. I think Taylor Page is her name.
Taylor Page.
Yeah, this is where I discovered Taylor. Like everyone else discovered her in what, Zora?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't she in Zora? I was like, oh, there ain't nobody but Taylor Page. Ain't nobody but Taylor Page. I've been knowing Taylor Page was good.
All right. Well,
she real good.
Gene of the Joneses.
Gene of the Joneses.
Next week on the Micheaux Mission, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll be spending Valentine's Day with Gene.
With Gene and the Joneses. I know it's Gene of the Joneses, but the Joneses will also be there. So we're going to spend it with Gene and the Joneses.
Oh, is it Gene and the Joneses?
No, it's Gene of the Joneses.
Okay,
but
so.
Yeah.
All right. Don't want to get that wrong. Just people will talk about.
Right.
All right. Until next week, he's Vincent. I'm Len. And in parting, we say,
we'll see you when it's time to meet again.